mode.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this wonderful December 1st, 2015. Wow. Don't want to be a party pooper, but we have one more left, one more month left in the year. Yet it's a festive season. Hope everyone had a very good Thanksgiving holiday. Our consultants in the U.S., to everybody else around the world. I hope you are enjoying your some of the Black Friday and Cyber Monday specials. It seems that it's become a bit of a global phenomena. We had here in Canada, our Thanksgiving was about a month ago, October, over a month ago, and people were shopping on Black Friday and also yesterday Cyber Monday. So hopefully everybody had some good deals. I were able to catch some good deals. Anyhow, definitely very excited to be here today this morning, Amalia, and we also have a special guest with us today, Chris Ballin, who's part of our SEO ALM our SEO team here at ALM. And he'll be joining us as well. Amalia, how are you today? Very good. I hope I didn't lose Amalia.
Yes, I'm doing great. Yeah, no, I'm here. I just want to say good morning to everyone. I'm doing fantastic. I hope everybody enjoyed their long weekend. For those who are living out in the U.S., once again, happy Thanksgiving to all of you and your families. I hope everybody's doing well, and welcome to this week's webinar.
Excellent. So to begin our webinar today, definitely we'll have some latest news and articles. Special guest, like I mentioned, Chris Ballin, our in-house ALM SEO specialist, who's going to be joining us. And he's going to be talking about adaptive SEO best business practices, a supplier's point of view. For some reason, we got cut off there. But we wanted to have our in-house team kind of provide us with some of the tips and recommendations on how to best service a client via the adaptive SEO methodology. And so Chris being one of our senior SEO members will be touching base in his experience for over a year working with adaptive SEO accounts. So he'll talk about that. Obviously, we'll have some Q&A section, so prepare your questions as well, because it's a good time to ask anything that is technical that you probably thought about before, and now you can actually ask Chris. Before I begin, just want to make sure that you can hear me properly. If you can just simply through the chat, just let me know if everything is okay. Excellent, audio is good. All right, perfect. So here we go then. I guess the first item in the agenda, Amalia, you're going to be talking a little bit about some AdWords updates that we had in the past week and so. Amalia?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I'm having connectivity issues here. So sorry, just bear with me. It's just disconnecting here. One moment.
Okay. Yeah, I think Amalia was going to be talking about our Google updates with AdWords, and interesting update that they've actually been able to do through the Android app, and basically including video campaigns. This is also something that you should be looking towards in 2016. Very important that you encourage your clients to start adding video into their practice, into their ongoing digital marketing practice. And Google has made it much easier now from a advertising perspective, where you can actually now monitor campaign performances and make bid and budget adjustments for your to include video campaigns on the AdWords app. So that's something that they've actually been able to release. The latest update adds video campaigns reflecting that change in the AdWords interface, and now advertisers can now see video campaigns metrics. And this is very good because you can now begin to track the performance of your video campaigns, right? It includes views, impressions, and view rates with reporting scorecards, and make bid and budget adjustments into those campaigns. As a matter of fact, hopefully within the next week or so, I'll probably be inviting one of our specialists in paid search who handles our Google AdWords accounts to share with us some of the new things that are happening with Google AdWords for 2016, so you can be prepared if you are looking at also continue to offer this service, right? You maybe want to update your clients as well. So when you add an existing, so how does it work? When you add an existing account to the app, it takes you straight to the Google sign-in, speeding up the process. Since the AdWords app launched in March, Google has been slowly adding functionality. In August, more performance data and billing information was added. So this is for individuals who are on the go, and it's another one of their updates where, if you have downloaded the Google AdWords app, you can pretty much manage your campaigns from it. So this is very, 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 very handy. It kind of gives you power in the palm of your hands, if you will, to manage your PPC campaigns. You don't have to be in front of a desktop. And if you are a manager of PPC accounts, and you know what, this is very helpful for after hours during the weekends. Via the Google AdWords Android app, you can pretty much manage your campaign from anywhere else as long as you're getting connectivity. So it's much easier than doing it from a desktop, or looking for, stopping to open up your computer to do it if you're driving, etc. You can pretty much do it on the phone. Although I do advise that don't be making adjustments to your bits while driving, right? So anyhow, that's one of the other updates. So apart from the video campaigns, which I am really a bit excited about this, because it allows you to start tracking some level of activity, not necessarily conversions, but activity with the video campaign metrics. So again, we'll have more on that in the next coming weeks as I bring on one of our Google AdWords specialists to join us. Excellent. I don't know if Amalia's now available, or did I totally lose her? But there was another.
No, I'm back. I'm back.
You're
No,
good
I'm
now?
back. Sorry, I was having. Yeah, I'm back. I'm so sorry, everyone. I had connectivity issues, and then you sort of took on the rest of the presentation, and I didn't want to interrupt. So I
Okay.
could definitely take over here. And let me just start off. Sorry, bear with me. I'm just trying to get this together here. So basically, this new article is called basically Bing Images launches places to buy for holiday shopping season. And basically what that is the two new big image search features lets users compare product prices and get product recommendations based on favorite images. And basically it's just in time for the biggest shopping weekend of the year, as you know, with Christmas is around the corner. Basically Bing is rolling out a new image search feature that displays the product prices, retailer information, reviews, and ratings. Bing is bringing you basically some relief by adding more data to the product images, including the prices for the same items sold at different stores. So there's a lot of price comparisons being done for us. Also reviews, ratings, store availability. Basically, this is what reads in the Bing search blog. Users can also click on the shopping cart icon within a Bing image to find the new places to buy beta feature that is rolling out of the desktop and mobile over the coming days. Also, Bing is also launching a new image stream feature, which gives the users product recommendations based on the images they have favorited. Early this year, Bing made it possible for users to save an image by clicking the heart of the icon to favorite. Now it enables you to favorite the images on the desktop and mobile, and the users can use the image stream feature to find the similar products based on the saved images and compare the product, basically the product information. So basically Bing's announcement included the following video to show how users can use it with a new image stream to find and compare the products via basically the image search. I provided the YouTube link for everyone, so if you wish you could refer to that. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
and I believe Armando, that's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
just wanted to run over the video very quickly. I mean, as you can see through the video, hopefully the streaming is okay. But what they're doing is really focusing on the interactive experience, and this is for mobile. So remember that this is for mobile searches. So this is using a mobile. So it definitely allows you to shop a little bit, or at least start selecting and clicking the pictures, right? Anyhow, I just wanted to briefly share that with you, just to make sure that if you have any questions and you're looking at sharing that with your clients, or continue to learn more about some of the things that Bing is doing, you can definitely share that with them. And I think that it's a great way of uh, Bing providing more interactivity to its services. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Amalia. Just kind of bringing it back to what to
Sure.
the news. There was a couple of different things that happened this week. So because of the time, we're going to try to kind of um, only focus on the top main news items. But next week we'll probably have some of them that also launched last week. There were a couple of things that we wanted to share as well. One of the questions that I did have from Maria was in regards to the AdWords app for Android. At this stage, they're only been focusing on Android. They don't seem to have an AdWords app that works for Mac, as far as I know. That's what it is. But you know what? I'll have the team do a bit of research. I'll have the AdWords team look into this, and we'll definitely reply, Maria. So thank you for that question. Okay, perfect. Moving on into some of the things that I wanted to share with you was in regards to something that Google talked about it earlier in the year. I believe it was around March, that they talked about something called AMP pages, and they've been testing these AMP pages, and they're really set to make their public debut in early 2016, sorry. And AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages, and this is a project that Google actually has worked on and gained support from publishers, platforms like Twitter, analytics tools, and also advertising networks and platforms. So what's this all about? Basically, what they do provide is really accelerated downloadable fast pages, and based on what they mentioned on the article was that they will be uh, 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 releasing this in early 2016, and Google will be sending traffic to your AMP pages in Google search early next year, and we plan to share more concrete specifics on timing very soon. In the meantime, the AMP project invites everyone to take part in the conversation on GitHub and encourages you to begin experimenting with building AMP pages as soon as possible. So this is something that they actually have been working on. I wanted to share, if you just give me a quick second, one of the things that they talked about. These are only for mobile pages, and it basically provides all of the information that you're looking for in your searches right at your fingertips. So if you could just give me a quick second, because the article was very interesting. Um, and we wanted to actually share it with you, because it's something that, again, you have to keep in mind that Google continues to make these specific changes for a reason. And I'm actually going to bring the actual article that was in Search Engine Land. And the only thing that I kind of wanted to do was talk about it, because unfortunately the AMP project is only for Google. So let me just share the actual website. Is ampproject.org, and the whole goal of this is to really have a platform that delivers the information right away. So it is somewhat technical, and you will require your programmer to also be part of this. Specifically if you are looking at responsive web design or just mobile friendly sites, there is a technical component to it. But the right now the framework is basically just for specific publishing companies and organizations that want to showcase or make readily available the information to their clients, and it is something that's going to be launched in 2016. It's called the AMP project, Accelerated Mobile Pages project. Mainly, like I said, it's going to be for publishers. Okay, and if you want to learn more, I'm actually going to be posting the link, and obviously we will keep you updated on this project that is being conducted by Google, and soon to be released online, and you can kind of learn more about it on GitHub. But definitely wanted to keep you updated on this piece of news, because mobile continues to be very important. So it's very important that you continue to educate your clients in the importance of mobile, not just mobile optimizing, mobile marketing, as well, as this continues to be more important. So I wanted to share that with you as well. And the next piece of news that I wanted to share was in regards to something that's also happening that's very important, and it has to do with uh, something that's called HTTP 2. And uh, uh, in a release, or spokesperson recently revealed that Googlebot will soon support HTTP2. And what is HTTP2? Is basically the latest update to the HTTP protocol by the Internet Engineering Task Force. The protocol is a successor to HTTP 1.1, which was drafted in 1999. Now, this is something that today, nowadays, the majority of the sites are running on HTTP 1.1, right? And you can actually see it as you search for things, or you browse for things, or your URLs mainly running on HTTP. Unless you're running on an SSL security socket layer, it will be HTTPS. But what's the big idea about HTTP2? And one of the things is that it will make sites faster, more efficient, and higher level of security as well. Now, it's something that we will be discussing a little bit more about it as it gets rolled out in 2016, or as soon as Google makes that official announcement that has been released. But just had some information for you. Who supports HTTP2? According to Can1 Use, HTTP2 is supported by 76.62% of the browsers used by users in the US, and 62.89% globally. There are a couple of caveats to these numbers, as Internet Explorer 11 only supports HTTP2 in Windows 10, and Chrome, Firefox, and Opera only support HTTP over HTTPS. You also find the most major server software, because this is server-based, such as Apache, Nginx, and IIS, already support HTTP2. Some of the major CDNs have also added HTTP support, including AKMI. So this is something that will be making its way into the internet, and something that your website should be ideally running for. Some of the improvements for users with HTTP2 is what they call faster speed and better user experience. As time goes on and people learn the limits of the new protocols, users should see increased speeds on HTTP2 connections. What does it mean for SEOs? With Googlebot adding support for HTTP2, websites that support the protocol will likely see an additional ranking boost from speed. On top of that, with Chrome and Firefox only supporting HTTP2 over HTTPS, many websites that have not yet upgraded to HTTPS may see an additional boost in rankings when they do. So definitely this will have a positive effect from an SEO perspective. Studies have shown how slow websites affect conversions and cause users to abandon the website, and conversely, how site speed increases lead to increased sales and conversion rates. The important thing to note is that HTTP2 is a faster and provides a better user experience. Google made speed ranking a factor for a reason, and it will be interesting to see if HTTP2 itself becomes a ranking factor, and how much additional weight will be placed on the added speed. So again, we've been kind of hearing about this, and Google made that announcement earlier this year in regards to speed being a factor for ranking, and they continue to also support different techniques and technologies that can make website downloading faster and browsing faster. So this is something that we wanted to share with you as well. If you give me a quick second, I kind of wanted to share an example of how fast what is the difference between HTTP and HTTP2. So let me just go here. So I'm going to share this testing with, this is what runs on our normal HTTP. So on the left hand side, let me just go here. We have the normal HTTP. So many other sites run on this technology, or HTTP. And when you refresh, you can see that right away, in this case, this one took 2.45 seconds. So it could be my connection right now. But when you run an HTTPS test, it takes 58 seconds. You see how fast it downloads, right? So there is a technical know-how. So I've actually I want to share this with you if you have a lot of FAQs, because it is a server side as well, a programming enhancement that needs to be done. So I've added all of the HTTP to frequently asked questions. for everybody, and everybody wants to kind of get the Cole's notes. I'm actually adding the article, and there are some enhancements, like I said, on the server side as well as on from a programming perspective that have to be completed. But just to let you know, this site here gives you all of the questions that it provides you all the information that you need to know about this new feature that most likely in 2016 is going to be very important. So I wanted to share that piece of news with you as well. Without further ado, and I will bring you more up to date in the next few weeks. I wanted to now introduce to you um, our special guest, Chris Ballin, who's, like I said, our ASEO specialist. And Chris is part of our team here in our Toronto location. He does live in a city very close by to Toronto called Hamilton. And definitely I wanted to have him here with us because he has worked with some of our ICs and definitely one of the things that I enjoy about Chris is his passion for SEO. He's been an account manager with over 10 years experiences in digital marketing, and he lives by Lake Ontario with his wife Angie or Ange. Sorry if I messed it up, Chris, and their 1-year-old Boston Terrier Pixie. So wanted to introduce you to Chris. Chris, are you now? Are you there?
I am. Thank you very much, Armando.
Okay, and yeah, just to let you know, Chris is also suffering a little bit from a cold, but he'll do his best to kind of um, go over this presentation, and it has to do with adaptive SEO, best business practices. Take it away. Thank you, Chris.
Fantastic. Thank you, Armando. I did just want to take some time today and go over some of our ASEO best practices. Now, many of you are familiar with our ASEO offerings. I wanted to go over some of what that means both to us, the supplier, you, the IC, and our clients. I wanted to go through some of the details as well as go over some of the best practices, some of the responsibilities, and some of the things that we absolutely need to avoid in order to ensure a successful campaign. Now, again, we'll be going over a background, deliverables, responsibilities for each of us, best practices, some potential pitfalls, and we'll have some time at the end for some Q&A. Now, adaptive SEO is a strategy to deliver a uniform front to the client. It aligns with the ever-changing SEO landscape. As Armando mentioned, there are excuse me, consistent updates to what Google is looking at and what Google is looking for in the SEO environment. Things like HTTP2 being rolled out. Adaptive SEO folds this into our practices and folds this into what we look at for our clients. To go with Armando's example of HTTP2, that's something that when it is rolled out is going to be involved in all of our technical assessments that we do for each of our ASEO clients within the first month of the campaign. Our W3C compliance will be adapting to look at HTTP2 as well. Adaptive SEO is definitely a game changer for ICs as well as for us. It's an additional stream for sales, for revenue. Adaptive SEO packages are much like integrated packages where they adapt and they have multiple different streams for deliverables. We aren't just looking at the client site anymore. We aren't just building backlinks. We are now doing social posts. We're doing video optimization. In many cases, we're doing additional content submissions off-site and on-site, and these are all towards SEO best practices. This is also great for WSI as a whole. WSI is a global leader in SEO, and to offer a package like Adaptive SEO just shows how on the pulse we are of the SEO community, how we can adapt on the fly to updates from Google, like new mobile responsiveness protocols like the Google Local 3-packs that have been rolled out. Our strategy adapts on the fly to these, and it shows a great value to our clients and solidifies WSI as that industry leader. ASEO is a result-oriented and Google-friendly tactic. We use only white hat tactics. We look at best practices, and we look at not trying to get results as soon as possible, because that often is sloppy and can result in penalties levied against our client sites. We do everything by the book, and this is how we lay a good foundation for our clients that are built upon. It's not about short, quick-term results. This is about laying a foundation where the client can continue success in 6 months, in 12 months, in 24 months. We want to ensure that we're complying to best practices as well as educating. One of my favorite points about adaptive SEO is the education. It's not just about one-way communication. This is two-way communication. This is us as the supplier educating you as the IC. This is you as the IC educating the client about what's required on all ends. Us as the supplier, me as the project manager, I'm not always going to be on call with your clients. So I need to educate you as to what each section of your progress report means, and how you can explain that to your clients, and how you can answer their questions. It is about education, and it is about knowledge sharing. Now, we've all seen this infographic before, the adaptive SEO tiers and what's involved in the adaptive SEO campaigns. Now, there are some timings in regards to these different tiers. Tier 1 is keyword and competitive research. It takes approximately 10 days for us to do keyword and competitive research, depending on how quickly we get feedback from your clients. We are looking for completed surveys from your clients, login information, competitive information. We are not experts in your client's field yet. We may be by the end of a 12-month campaign, but at the outset of a brand new campaign, we do require a lot of feedback from your clients. And this is something that we should prepare clients for, that they need to be willing to participate with us. This is something that we need their help with. If a client is signing up for an ASEO campaign and then is just expecting to be hands-off for the rest of the campaign, then we need to set those expectations that the client needs to be involved in this as well. Now, Tier 2, like I mentioned, are those technical SEO fundamentals. Within the first 30 days of the campaign, we take a look at the client's site and we take a look at what needs to be addressed immediately. Does the client have any errors in coding, in programming, in broken links? What are the site load times? As Armando mentioned, site load times often deter visitors from conversions because site load times are taking so long. That's something that we need to address immediately, and that's something that we do within the first 30 days of the campaign, as well as putting an action plan into place as to how to address any urgent issues. Now, Tier 3 of adaptive SEO is the optimized content marketing plan. This is where I provide you with content calendars, and we look for feedback from the client. Do they have any promotions running? Do they have any special features that they want us to highlight? Is a particular product selling better within the past 2 months that they want to feature in their content moving forward? Like I mentioned, within the keyword research and competitive research section of this, we require the client's feedback. This is a two-way communication street, not a one-way communication street. We are opening a dialogue with the client. We are talking at the client. We do adapt to not only internet standards and Google standards, but we adapt to the client's business as well. If they've received additional stock in a product, then that's something that we want to help them push. And that's something that we can work into the campaign. And that's why we address these issues, these items every quarter within the campaign, to ensure that we're on top of not only what is best for the client, but what the client is looking for as well. Tier 4, of course, is publish, socialize, and share. This is where we take that content plan that the client has helped us create, that we've created with the client. We create content, we publish it not only to the client site, but we publish it off-site as well. Blog sites, press release distribution sites. We also create specialized social media snippets that are shared across the client's social media streams. Again, this is adaptive SEO. We are taking advantage of all of the tools at our disposal. And part of that are the client's social media streams. And of course, Tier 5 is measure and improve. This is monthly, where I provide monthly progress reports to you, the IC, and I provide my recommendations as well. We see what's performed well in the past 30 days, what has not performed well within the last 30 days. What can we do to bolster results? What is the best strategy to take advantage of? Have we noticed that the client site load times have decreased across the site within the past 30 days? Well, that's something that we should be getting in touch with the client's hosting company about. That's something that we should be getting on top of immediately. These are recommendations and value adds that we provide for our clients. Now, of course, adaptive SEO also has a specific onboarding process. This is where we do a kickoff call. I will have a nice call with a new IC, and we'll discuss the client and ease each other into the onboarding process. I provide our ICs with SEO questionnaires, with video questionnaires, with infographic questionnaires, depending on what the package calls for. And this is where the IC, you need to contact the client. And as I mentioned, two-way communication. We need to provide them with our recommendations, and they need to provide us with essential information about their businesses. Of course, we review the questionnaire. We take a look at any information that is necessary that is not available, and we seek out to obtain that from the client as well. I will post welcome messages in Basecamp, letting you know my contact information, as well as centralizing all communication. This is just to ensure that we have an ongoing record of the entire campaign. It means that in month 8 of the campaign, we can refer back to month 1's progress report within Basecamp. It's a centralization tactic. We set up milestones and project plans. So this is setting up goals for the client, setting up benchmarks in regards to where the client's starting out ranking-wise, where the client's starting out traffic-wise, and where we are projecting them to be and where we're hoping them to be. Of course, we set up goals and expectations. This is very important. This is where this two-way communication comes into effect. We need to know from the client what they consider to be a conversion. We need to know from the client how many conversions they're currently getting in through their website. We need to know how we can build on that. We need to set goals as to, is a conversion somebody sending a contact form, sending an inquiry through the client's contact page? Is it a phone call? Is it a quote request? Or is it just somebody spending 3 or more minutes on the client's site? This is essential that we talk to the client about that and we find out what they're looking for so that we can set these up so that our reporting can reflect this. And of course, highlighting any issues. With our reporting process, we do make recommendations every month. And this is for best practices to ensure that our clients are getting the most from our services. If we see that a client's internal page is receiving a bounce rate of 100% across 70 visitors, well then what's wrong with that page? We should be working to increase engagement on that page, especially if it's a promotion page or an informational page. Worse yet, if it's a conversion page, then that's something that we should be on immediately and we should be recommending to the client. We should be adapting the deliverables for our SEO package to adapt to what's needed for the client. Now, of course, there are some best practices in regards to onboarding. There is essential information that we need as early as possible, and this should be, as the IC, your #1 priority. We require on-site access to the client site immediately. This is CMS and FTP access. This is access to the client's WordPress login and their hosting login. This is required for our on-site technical assessment, which, as I mentioned, is done within the first 30 days of the campaign. This is required for content edition, which is something that we do every month. And this is required for the implementation of our on-site optimizations. These are meta tags, image tags, meta descriptions, schema optimization. Again, this is all done within the first month of the campaign. As soon as we get that information, we can verify and we can get to work on that. If the client does not have CMS or FTP information, if they don't have that themselves, whoever built their website or whoever is hosting their website will have that information for them. And it's essential that we get that information immediately. Also essential are client business insights. As I mentioned, I send out that survey within the first days of the campaign. We require that as a starting point for our initial campaign research as well as our competitive analysis. Like I mentioned, we are not experts in the client's field yet. It's these insights that provide us with the education that allows us to become experts eventually. Working together, opening up that two-way communication is how we all manage to learn and know better moving on into the future. Right? During month 1 of the campaign, the only thing that I'm going to know about a client is what's available on their site unless I get these business insights back. We need Google Analytics and Search Console access, or just whether the client has Google Analytics or Search Console at all. If the client does have existing Google Analytics and Search Console set up on their site, please have it shared with WSIALM@gmail.com. This allows us to have access near permanently to the client's information. This means that if the client changes login information, we aren't going to have a delay in our reporting as we get that information back from them. And it also gives us access to the client's historical data. We'll be able to better report on where the client was pre-campaign and where they are working with us. That's just going to show more value in our work and make it easier for you to communicate success with the clients. It's also required for our monthly analysis and reporting. Again, the more information that we have access to, the better. And if the client doesn't have analytics or Search Console set up on their site, we need to know immediately so that we can set up that access and that information within the first 7 days of the campaign to ensure by your first monthly progress report 30 days into the campaign, we have data to report on. Also essential are social media logins, and social media logins that are verified accurate. If you as the IC can log into this information, if the client can log into this information, fantastic. Sending information over without being verified will just increase the cycle that is required to go and re-request access from the client. Access to Facebook and Google Plus can be shared with WSIALM@gmail.com as well. Again, this is to ensure that if the client changes passwords, we still have access. And this means that we aren't waiting on delays to post social media for the client. Right? This is required for profile optimization. This is where we work our optimized keywords into the About section of our client's social media profiles. It's also required for, of course, sharing of our monthly social media posts. Social media is a stream that your client should be taking advantage of. It's one that ASEO does take advantage of, provided the client has shared this access with us. Now, an important thing to know heading into an ASEO campaign is regarding expectations. We should not be positioning ASEO and SEO to a client as a method of quick results. SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. I'm very fond of saying this. Some of you that have worked with me have heard me say this before. Within the first 3 months of the campaign, we need to be setting up some expectations for the client. ASEO and SEO are cumulative efforts. That means that anything that we do in the first month of the campaign, while will have an impact, is only going to be compounded upon within month 2 of the campaign. By month 6 of the campaign, we're going to have 5 months of work that we've built upon. And we're going to be seeing those incremental results throughout each month of the campaign. We aren't going to have 1 month of the campaign where the client shoots from not being ranked for any of their keywords to page 1 for their keywords. And we need to temper those expectations immediately. What will happen with ASEO and SEO is that the client will climb in rankings. They might start out unranked, and within month 1 of the campaign, they might end up on page 8. By month 6 of the campaign, they might be on page 2. Imagine how far they've come across those months. But they need to know that that's taken effort, and that's not something that we can snap our fingers and do for them. They aren't going to be ranking on page 1 or page 2 immediately. We need to lay a foundation to build upon. Some clients may come on board with a good foundation. Again, that doesn't mean that results will be fast or easy, just that we do have a good head start. Typically, within the first 3 months of the campaign, we build this foundation. We do our technical analysis. We do our on-site optimizations. We take a look at pain points for the client. Is their website good enough to obtain inquiries, to obtain conversions? Do they have overly long load times? Is that deterring people from converting? Does the client have no content across their site? If so, that's something that we need to adapt to and we need to address within the first quarter of the campaign. While we are working on this foundation, results are welcomed, but should not be projected as an expectation to the client. Achieving SEO results within the first quarter of the campaign is something that can be done and something that we do achieve to do. And the key to this is keyword selection and strategy. Again, as results are not to be expected or promised within the first quarter of the campaign, we do have strategies that we can implement to provide immediate value to our clients. Selecting an array of keywords for the client to achieve both quick results or quick wins and long-term results is a strategy that I employ for many of our clients' campaigns. This is where we may take a look at the client's key offering, see where they have some existing rankings built, where they have some existing web presence. This may be taking the client's core offerings from page 2, say ranking in position 13, to within the first quarter of the campaign trying to get them to position 10, so the bottom result on page 1. Again, this shows our client's benefit. We can get you to page 1. But we also want to choose a selection of keywords for other offerings from the client, their secondary offerings, where they might not have any existing online presence for, and build that throughout the course of the campaign. These are the keywords that we're going to take from not being ranked through to being ranked eventually. We want to strike a balance here between existing keyword rankings and non-existent keyword rankings. This is immediate value via boosting existing rankings and long-term value by creating new markets for them. One example I like to use here is taking a look at an eye care clinic. Their core offering may be checkups. They might be doctor's appointments. But they have a secondary offering of selling designer eyewear. They may have existing online presence for checkups, for eye clinic in their geo-target. They might be on page 2 for that, and that's something that we can help boost within the first few months of the campaign. But we also want to take their secondary offering, like designer eyewear, that they may not be ranking for immediately, and throughout the course of the campaign, open up that revenue stream for them online. And that's something that we look at within the first month of the campaign, within the first quarter of the campaign, and as I mentioned, does require client feedback. It's this two-way communication, the client learning from us and us learning from the client, that helps a successful ASEO or SEO campaign. Now, there are also some best practices in regards to our reporting process. We aim to educate everyone at each step. I, as your project manager, may walk through the first few monthly progress reports with you, or perhaps the first monthly progress report directly with the client. This is to educate all of us. One is to educate you and the client as to what's contained within our monthly progress reports. What information is available here? And if the client asks a question down the road, it better equips you to answer it. Now, my walking through this with the client gives me a better idea of what the client views as success. What are they interested in terms of success? If we show them a 7% increase in overall traffic and a 12% increase in Google organic traffic, does that tickle them right? Or are they looking at just rankings? Are they looking within the first month of the campaign to have something on page 1? If so, then that's something that we need to temper the client for. Those are expectations that we need to set. Now, our monthly progress reporting is standardized and consistent. Every monthly progress report will have the same sections for you, which, of course, will contain different information from each month to month, but will mean the same thing to the client. I educate you as the IC as to what that means, both for the campaign and for the client, so that you can better explain that to the client, and you can better answer their questions. As your project manager, I cannot be on every progress report discussion call with you and the client. As such, you need to be comfortable enough to walk through the report with the client on your own. Asking me questions, asking for an education session between you and I is what's going to solve this step. I am not always going to give you a fish, but I am more than willing to teach you how to fish. And while I am, as I mentioned, available to educate and answer, the more educated we are, the more educated the client can be. If they're asking the same question every month for 3 months, well, then that's something that we have to educate them on. If they're asking what a social media submission is, or how much traffic they're obtaining from their social media submissions, that's education. We need to educate the client. They aren't going to be getting direct traffic from these social media submissions. It helps build their backlink catalog, which helps build their rankings, which helps build traffic via their Google search results. If we answer that properly and satisfyingly for the client, then it's not something that they're going to be asking every month. Education is essential here. Now, we have responsibilities, each of us, as the IC. Your responsibilities include getting that SEO questionnaire back to me, doing the initial onboarding call with the client, setting these expectations, outlining monthly deliverables to the client, assisting with local profile verifications, getting timely approval on meta tags, on content, on feedback from the client, getting input from the client on content. As I mentioned, any promotions the client runs, of course, we aren't going to know about until the client informs us. They may be hesitant at first, But again, we need to let them know that this process involves them. This isn't a fire and forget scenario. The client needs to be involved at each step as well. Now there are responsibilities from my end as well. I need to confirm that login information provided in the questionnaire. I need to help set your expectations as well. Explain monthly deliverables to you. As you can see here, we're playing a game of telephone. I am educating you as the IC, and you as the IC are educating the client. Conversely, the client is providing you with information about the account, about the client, about the business, and you're providing that to me to better include in this campaign. We need to work together and educate at each step to ensure a successful campaign. There are some pitfalls that we do look to avoid in setting up and running an SEO or ASEO campaign. Setting goals and objectives, as I mentioned, are something that we set to do in the first month of the campaign. But if we have no feedback from the client as to what their objectives are from their website, then we can only set generic objectives. How many visits has their contact page received? How many inquiries have they received through the site, through their Contact Us form? That's all we can report on. We can't report on the information that the client wants to know if the client hasn't let us know what is important to them. Tunnel vision in regards to success is something that we need to avoid and temper expectations on as well. If the client is only focused on rankings or only focused on traffic, we need to let them know that there are various metrics for success across the campaign. If organic traffic is increasing and overall traffic to the site is decreasing, then the campaign is still being successful. If Google organic traffic is increasing, but the client's direct traffic has decreased, causing overall traffic to the site to decrease, then our goal of increasing organic traffic has been successful. We need to identify to the client, why has their direct traffic decreased? What have they stopped doing? Or what are they doing improperly? It's not just rankings. It's traffic. It's position. It's these goals that we're setting up. What is a conversion to the client? How can we better report on conversions for the client? We need to communicate the right message to the audience as well. This goes to feedback from the client too. What are their core offerings? What are their secondary offerings? What language do they prefer using? Are they targeting a higher class of consumer? If so, we're going to need to know which terms to use and which terms to avoid. If a client only sells industrial items in bulk, then we need to include terms like bulk or large order in their keywords and in their optimizations. Targeting keywords informational versus commercial queries. Are we targeting business to business? Are we targeting end consumer? Language is very different here. Are we targeting someone who is looking for a service or somebody who may be interested in a service? Are we targeting how do I unclog a drain, or are we targeting drain cleaning services? This is information that we need to receive from the client and discuss amongst ourselves as to which is the best strategy for the client. Not considering the competition is a pitfall as well. We need to know that the client is looking to compete on the same plane as their competition. This means that they're looking to steal market share away from these competitors. How can we best do that? How long have their competitors been around for? Are the competitors targeting multinational businesses like Walmart as their top competitor? If so, we need to temper expectations. However, if they're targeting the mom and pop shop next door, what keywords are those competitors showing up for online? And if they are showing up for anything, How can we ensure that we're showing up ahead of them? Seasonality is important to discuss as well. If a client has lawn care services and they're targeting those in their SEO campaign, and we roll into October and November, and the client's wondering why their overall traffic has decreased by 15%, then we need to see how much traffic is coming in through these seasonal keywords. As winter comes, nobody's looking for lawn care services. That means during the winter months, we should be looking to target another set of keywords. We should be looking to rotate something into the campaign. Using the A from ASEO, we should adapt. Not tracking these goals and conversions that we set up with the client in G-Shift or Google Analytics. Being able to report on campaign successes is only going to show value to our clients. Showing value to your clients is going to make a happy client and going to ensure that they're sticking around throughout the entire campaign and into a renewal campaign. And we also need to, this is potentially one of the biggest ones, focus on DIY clients versus working with experts. If a client is dead set on updating their own site, they need to update us at each stage of the updates. They need to educate us as to what they're changing and why. We need to make sure that they aren't undoing any of our efforts. We need to make sure that they aren't doing anything that's potentially black hat, that they aren't aware of. We need to stress to them that as their online marketing experts, we need to be involved in each step. We need to also let them know that as industry experts and professionals, that these are services that we could potentially be doing for them as well. Something that we need to know heading into a campaign is the client planning on relaunching their website? Are they working on a brand new website before they've started an ASEO package with us? If so, we need to know that any work that we do on the client's site before that site is launched is going to be completely undone. We need to be included in the loop on that one to ensure that the client's new site is built from the ground up with SEO best practices in mind. Otherwise, the client is going to be dissatisfied when they launch their new site and find that everything that we've done for them up to that point is gone. That's going to mean a cancellation. That's going to mean the client doesn't renew. The more information we can obtain from the client, the better prepared we're going to be and the better results we can provide as well. Okay, now Q&A time.
Yeah, just open. I just waiting for some of the ICs. If you have any questions, you can put them through the question pane, and definitely we can address them. One of the things that I know that you mentioned in the beginning was in regards to adaptive SEO and how we at ALM focus on adapting, for example, on things that are happening. I wanted to kind of maybe you can talk a little bit more in regards to how we adapted or how we kind of changed a bit of our focus when we moved into more of a 3-pack. Versus a 7-pack scenario when Google made that change. How did that affect, or how did we make some changes to our SEO?
Fantastic. Thanks, Armando. Sorry. One of the things that we adapted to when Google changed to the 3-pack method is a greater focus on core citations. We now, within the first month of our campaigns, do an in-depth assessment of the client's existing major citations. Do they have Yelp built? Right? Do they have a Google My Business page built? Are all of their citations conforming to NAP? Is the client being consistent across all of their citations? And are the citations that we're going to be building for the client going to be conforming to this as well? We need to have this in place to ensure a very strong relationship between the client's local listing, their address, their physical address, and their website. We now do additional deliverables like working the client's Google map listing directly into the client's site and onto their contact page. Again, this forms that solid relationship between their Google local listing, their Google My Business listing, and their website. The stronger that connection is, the greater local results you'll find.
Thanks. There's also just looking for the questions here, and for some reason the pane, I'm having challenges with the pane. Just give me a quick second here. Are you able to see the pane there for the questions at the bottom, Chris, by any chance?
I'm able to see it, but I am not seeing any questions.
Yeah, I think there's one from Shirish at the end. Shirish, at the end, you'll see it.
Sorry, no, the last thing that I'm seeing is a link from you.
Okay. For some reason, that's very weird. That's not allowing us to see the questions. The other thing is one of the things that I kind of wanted to touch base with in regard to the content. So from our experience, it's better to keep our content refreshed every 3 months, meaning that the content calendar should be done or should be completed on a quarterly basis versus a yearly basis, correct?
Absolutely. Again, this is just in case anything comes up. We don't want to be too rigid in our content plan. Even projecting 6 months in advance for content plan means that if we achieve great results for a keyword within the first 2 or 3 months of the campaign, but we're projecting to keep working on that keyword for months 4 through 6, that's something that we want to adapt to, right? If we're suddenly on page 1 for a keyword within the first quarter of the campaign, then we don't want to be wasting deliverables on that keyword as well. We want to be looking for better results by pulling up other keywords. Every 3 months gives us an idea of, A, what is the client planning? Do they have any promotions? Have they found a bestseller? Right? How are they adapting? How is their business adapting to the results that we've obtained for them within the first 3 months of the campaign? Have they found that they have a new core offering?
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we want to find out every quarter of the campaign. We want to adapt to.
Okay. Yeah, and the last question that I have here is in regards to does an ASEO project transfer easily between suppliers, meaning that another production team has been working on an adaptive SEO project and now they want to bring it over to ALM, for example. Is it easily transferable? So typically, I guess I'll answer part of it, and maybe you can answer more of the technical side.
Sure.
But from my understanding, as long as we have general background information on what has been accomplished in the last 3 months, or as much as information as possible, for example, what keywords were being targeted, what were some of the deliverables. One of the key things that's always very important is the submission link building strategy or submissions. A list, of directories where it has been submitted, so we don't, double up on them. So I guess those are kind of some of the things. Correct, Chris? If I'm wrong, or anything else?
Absolutely. The more information about that can be provided about what has been accomplished, the more we can assess what needs to be done and what we can avoid. Right. So if we're given submission summaries for every local citation that the previous supplier has built out, then we know to avoid doing those, and we don't have to waste a month's deliverable assessing how much is already out there, how much is done. Additionally, optimizations that the previous supplier has worked into the site. What keywords were they focusing on? What kind of results did they get? Did they get poor results? If so, why, and how can we achieve better? What pitfalls did they run into that we can avoid? Right?
Perfect.
And the more information, again, that's provided by the client to us, what didn't they like about what the supplier was doing?
Okay.
Right? Then
Perfect.
that's information that we can work into the campaign as well.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. I'm just going to make myself presenter, if you don't mind, and I want to thank everybody for being with us. And just to let you know that this webinar will be posted on our YouTube channel, and you may get an email from the team just to update you. I know sometimes, for example, this week many of the ICs are still on vacation or trying to regain momentum heading into the last month, so may not be able to attend. So I'm going to put it up again, or if you have any further questions or you want to kind of refresh your understanding of adaptive SEO from a supplier's perspective, definitely have a look at it. We'll be putting it in our YouTube. I know that we'll probably be rolling out also some promotions for this month of December. And if you have any questions, connect with Amalia, Michelle, or myself. We'll definitely look forward to sharing these promotions with you. Thank you very much to Chris for being with us on the call. A wealth of knowledge, and appreciate being with us today, and hopefully we can have you back in the new year with another topic. I know there's a lot of things that we've been talking about in regards to sharing with the IC, so thank you very much for being with us. And to everybody, thank you once again, and have yourself a great week. Take care. Thank you for joining us in today's webinar. Bye-bye.